Yeah, what I'm gonna say right now will not make much sense. The engine is super smooth, very linear, but the throttle feels kind of jerky and lacks refinement. As soon as I start twisting the throttle, the bike jerks a little, and then afterwards the acceleration is very lenient, very pleasant. So the super early stage is kind of jerky and I would say a little unpleasant, but then, yeah, once you start moving, super pleasant, super linear, very freaking fun to ride. Well, I like the acceleration, but you know what I don't like? Brake performance. Brakes are pretty freaking weak. What the hell? Well, they're not weak, but they're strange. They feel squishy. I don't know why. You need to squeeze the lever real hard. So the brakes are pretty powerful. We have a dual-sided disc and 4-piston calipers from Taiska, right? Brakes are bloody and powerful once you get there, but you need to squeeze the freaking brake lever so hard. The brakes are gonna engage at the very freaking last part of the motion, which I don't like. I want to talk about specifications and I want to apologize. I was saying that KOVE450RR comes equipped with an aluminum frame. This newest iteration of this bike, as you can see, has this beautiful red frame, and it's super freaking obvious that this is not an aluminum frame. This is just a trellis steel frame. On previous bikes, it was black, and it was really difficult for me to understand whether this is an aluminum frame or not, so I just chose to believe those guys. And now we know that this bike doesn't have an aluminum frame. Let me just recap specifications. We have inline 4-cylinder engine, which puts out 70 horsepower and 39 Nm of torque, so the engine has no change. Up front we have dual-sided discs with 4-piston Taiska calipers. At the rear we have a single disc, as always. Speaking about technology, we have adjustable ABS. There are 3 levels of adjustability. We have traction control, which could be also turned off. We have 2 power modes. We have a quick shifter up, no quick shifter down. This time we have Bluetooth connectivity and stuff like that, which I don't care about at all. Speaking about the new stuff, this time we have a fully adjustable KOVE suspension. I'll remind you that on the previous iterations of the same bike, we had a suspension which was called Yuan, the same one as we have on Jiangxuya. The seat height is 785 millimeters, and in person this bike looks super tiny. I feel like the wheelbase is super short. The official carb weight of this bike is only 165 kilograms. I'll show you what we have. So you see, ABS, we have standard, performance. Let me just put it in standard. Okay. We have traction control, open to see, close once, close longly. We also have 2 power modes, Eco and Sport. The first gear goes up to 100 kilometers per hour, at least according to the dash. Acceleration is super linear, but as I've said, this very early stage is kind of jerky. Quick shifter works well. That's a furious little bike. Yeah guys, I feel like this bike sounds the best. There's not a single motorcycle from a Chinese manufacturer which sounds better. Yeah, the pitch is so freaking high. It's just screaming so loudly. Yeah, we have a soft limiter at 8,000 RPM. Shit. Yeah, it's horrible, super bad. Well, you know right away that the acceleration was horrible because I cannot start the bike properly. And this type of a motorcycle requires a very, very different approach. So you need to slip the clutch, you need to rev it up a lot, and I need to be super careful because the first time I was doing that on another cove, we had a problem, dude. We snapped the clutch cable, so I keep it in mind. I don't want to break the bike. Yet I want to get at least a decent acceleration. The official acceleration of this bad boy is like sub 4 freaking seconds. Again, I'm maybe 90 kilograms heavy with everything I'm wearing, but I still feel like if I do everything right, I can get a pretty decent acceleration. But guys, it's so freaking hard. The bottom end torque on this bike is not bad at all. But once you start accelerating aggressively from 0 to 100, dude, shoot, I don't know. Just not easy at all. And I feel as if I do a bad job, but it's just so different from other motorcycles. And somehow when I was launching Jiangxia, it was easier. Well, just now I was slipping the clutch real bad, and it was 5 seconds, well, 5.2. 4.99. Well, at least it's 5 seconds. Alright guys, with me riding, with my set of skills, my average acceleration is at about 5 seconds. I remember that the second time was measuring acceleration without drag, my best result was 4.3 seconds. I feel like if I'll do it more times, over time my result is gonna get better, but dude, I just do not trust this reliability, even though this bike is actually reliable. By the way, speaking about reliability of KOVE450, I was talking to those guys and they said that this is the only single sports bike that they have which does not burn oil at all. So in a way, this bike would be more reliable than CF Moto 605 or, I don't know, Zantis. Simultaneously, when you go real hard, when you try to race, when you try to launch the bike super aggressively, shit can happen. We slipped the clutch on KOVE450. We also snapped the cable, the clutch cable. So I'm trying to be super vigilant and cautious because I do not trust it as much as I want. Do I think that this bike is worse than Jiangxia 500? I don't know, guys. It's much slower, that's for sure. I don't like the brakes as much. I do not like the cockpit as much. So, if you want to get a more powerful, more intuitive motorcycle, Jiangxia is gonna be much better. And price-wise, it's just a little bit more expensive than this. But this bike features a better, more well-known suspension from KYB. If you are a light rider, I feel like this bike would be much faster. And it's crazy stable. It's crazy stable, especially for its weight. It's super light, and yet stability of this bike is incredible. And once you try to do some slow speed maneuvers, or if you're trying to do some U-turns in a city, it will not be as good as a naked bike. It will not be as good as, let's say, 450 I saw from CF Moto. It sounds much better. It feels faster. You can rev it up to like 16,000 RPMs, which is crazy. Ergonomics wise, it's sporty but not bad. So it's still kind of alright. It's pretty comfortable. My wrists don't feel too tired. If you're talking like that, wind exposure is minimal. Even with my height, I'm 1 meter 85 centimeters. So yeah guys, it's a very sweet motorcycle, especially for 29,900 RMB. It's like a very good motorcycle, super playful. It feels fast as hell, but when it comes to draggy results, it's kind of slow. Yeah guys, I don't know what to say about this bike. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. Do I like it more than Gensuya? No, I don't. I feel like Gensuya looks better. Gensuya is definitely much faster. Gensuya has more vibrations, actually, which I don't like. In 2025, if I'll be buying a bike, I feel like I'll get Gensuya over this. That's not interesting at all. One honorable mention is that we don't have vibrations. We didn't go too fast, but so far vibrations are minimal. The bike feels very smooth. Well, it wasn't bad actually. Oh my god. We did a stoppie, dude, and we have ABS on. So you can do stoppies on this bike like nothing. Alright, U-turn, ready? Yeah bro, I had to use my foot, you know why? Just because I was trying to stay on the throttle, I was trying to get a little bit of gas, and the power has disappeared. I was like, alright, so probably I just completely closed the throttle, even though it didn't feel like that. So this is what I'm saying. At super slow speed, the throttle feels unhinged. It feels unpredictable, and you always have this urge to correct, to adjust. I don't have to do that on CF Moto 605 or on Zontis. So the throttle is something I wish KOVE would fix. Again, the faster you go, the better it feels. If you're racing, if you're going hard, you would not have the same problem. You would only experience that problem once you go super slow, or if you'll just ride in the city or do some super slow speed maneuvers. Alright guys, scrapyard part of the video. There's nothing on the scale other than our KOVE450RR. Alright, we have this little tiny foam mount, and that's all. Oh, how? 168好，谢谢你，谢谢。Hi. Alright guys, the actual weight of this bike is 168 kilograms with a full gas tank. The official carb weight of the bike is 165, so there's like a tiny little discrepancy. Yeah, we have this little thing over here, a foam mount. Let me show you the tank. Alright guys, full gas tank. So in the end of the day, this motorcycle is 12 kilograms lighter than Gensuya 500. This bike is so light, it's so capable in twisties, it's so capable on a track, and yet when I'm doing those super slow speed maneuvers, I don't feel as good. Just because of the throttle. It feels amazing when you go fast, yet it feels horrible. Like for me, I don't know, maybe I just need to get used to it, but it just doesn't feel as good, guys. It feels as if I use the clutch, you know? It feels as if I cut the power to the engine. And dude, one more thing, it's constantly pinching my thumb. I'm not a track racer, unfortunately, and I'm not the most qualified person for this job to review a motorcycle like that. But for city guys, I will tell you that I miss this precision of CF Moto in terms of throttle. Vogue 525 would feel way more refined in terms of throttle response. It wouldn't be as jerky, it wouldn't be maybe as fun, and yet it would be way more refined. It just cuts the power to the engine, and then you try to course correct, you try to add a little bit more gas, and the throttle feels jerky and just feel absolutely horrible. Like, doesn't feel good at all. I remember that on Zonti 703, I was making those circles. It felt so goddamn good. I felt as if I'm a professional rider, even though I didn't do much. But on this bike, I feel way less confident. I feel like a worse rider, and it's very strange because the bike's supposed to be more playful, it's supposed to be more maneuverable, and yet it's way less maneuverable compared to Zonti's or even CF Moto. But then, once you get to the sweet spot in terms of RPMs, the throw response feels amazing. The bike feels amazing. It feels maneuverable and nice once you go kind of fast. I feel like it would be better if on a sports bike like that, engine braking would be a little bit weaker. Alright guys, what do you think about this bike in the end of the day? Is it a great machine? Yeah, absolutely. Is it fun? Yeah, it's extremely fun. Is it the best motorcycle in this class? No, it's not. I would say that if you're looking for something super refined, Vogue 525 or whatever it's called would be so much smoother, so much more linear, so much more refined. It just feels so much better than this. But this bike is way more aggressive, bottom and torque on this bike is greater, and the throttle response is more fun. But speaking about the throttle response, it's not as accurate, it's not as precise. So when you do some slow speed maneuvers, when you need this extra accuracy, extra precision, the throttle doesn't feel good at all. And this is the same problem I had on Gensuya 500. So I would say that Gensuya 500 and KOVE450RR, they share the same problem with the throttle. But speaking about Gensuya, it will be so much more powerful. It will be even more stable than this. Gensuya feels faster. I would say that Gensuya looks better, but Gensuya does not have a full adjustable KOVE suspension, even though Gensuya also has a full adjustable UN suspension. The previous iteration of KOVE450 also had UN suspension. Do I feel the difference? Honestly, I don't, but KOVE is a more well-known, more refined, more luxury brand in the end of the day. What do you think about this beautiful motorcycle? Do you think it's better than Gensuya? Do you think it's better than the competition like VOOM 500 from CF Moto and Vogue 525? Personally, if you're looking for refinement, I feel like Vogue is gonna be much better. If you're looking for top tier power, Gensuya is gonna be your option. If you're looking for the most outstanding design, look no further than VOOM 500. But if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, this is your guy. Guys, tell me what you think about this little review of mine. Tell me what you think about this motorcycle in the comment section below. If you've ridden the bike, tell me what you think about it. Tell me about your acceleration, if you've measured. And as always, I'm gonna read all your comments. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next videos. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.